Hello, 4th graders. Welcome to Lesson 3.1, Multiply by Tens. Please pause to write the lesson number and title in your notebook. Today's lesson objective is I can use place value and multiplication properties to multiply by tens. Please pause and write the lesson objective in your notebook. Alright, in Unit 3 we're going to be looking at multiplying multi-digit numbers. To start off this skill, we're going to learn how to multiply with tens. To do that, we have an unlock the problem. It says that animation for a computer-drawn cartoon requires about 20 frames per second. How many frames would be needed to draw a cartoon for 30 seconds? Alright, to start off, let's read the box in blue. The phrase 20 frames per second means that 20 frames are needed for each second of animation. How does this help you know what operation to use? Well, the word each tells me that I need to multiply. So I need 30 seconds that each have 20 frames. Okay? One way to multiply with multi-digit numbers with tens is to think of 30 as 3 groups of 10. So I can multiply 20 times 30 as 20 times 3 tens. Then if I multiply 20 by 3, I get 20, 40, 60 tens. And remember, tens means I add one more zero back on, so I get 600. I could also look at this by taking the zeros out of the problem and saying 20 times 3 times 10. So we're breaking 30 into 3 times 10. And then I do 20 times 3 is 60 times 10 gives me 600. So in order to make a 30-second cartoon, you would need to draw 600 frames. Another way to multiply by a 2-digit number is to use a number line. In this example, we're multiplying 15 by 20. So in order to do that, we're going to multiply 15 by 2 and then jump 2 every time, and we're going to make 15 jumps. So if I start at 0 and I jump 2 every time, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so if I do 15 jumps and I start at 0 and I go 2 each time, I get to 30. So 15 times 2 is 30. Now, I can take that, and instead of counting by 2 each time, I'm going to count by 20 each time. So I can go 20, 40, 60, 80, and I'm going to make those same 15 jumps, but now instead of counting by 2s, I'm counting by 20s, which is very similar. I just added 0 on the end. So now when I get down here to the end, instead of having 30, I have 300. Okay? We also talked in Unit 2, about halving and doubling. When I have two-digit numbers, one way I can make them into smaller numbers is to half them and then double them. So in this example, I have 14 times 30. Both of them are 2-digit numbers. So one way I can make this easier is to use some mental math. I can find half of 14. Half of 14 is 7. So then I multiply 7 by 30, and I can do that by multiplying 7 by 3. 7 times 3 is 21, and then add my 0 back on. And then since I took half of it, now I need to double it. So I do 210 times 2, which is 420. So I can easily figure out that 14 times 30 is 420. All right, before moving on, let's practice these two skills again. So in the first try this, it says we're going to use mental math. We're going to use our half and double skill. So we can think of 12, half of 12 is 6. So our first step is we're going to do 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. Then I can do 6 times 40. I'm going to pull out my two numbers that I know, 6 and 4. 6 times 4 is 24. And then I'm going to bring my 0 over, so I get 240. And then since I did half, now I am going to double. So I should have 240 times 2. I'll do that over to the side so we can see it. 240 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 2 is 4. So my answer to 12 times 40 is 480. Okay, now we're going to do the same problem. We're going to do 12 times 40, but this time we're going to do it with using place value. And that means recognizing that 40 is 4 groups of 10. So I'm going to multiply 12 times 4 times 10, because 4 and 10 together make 40. And then the associative property tells me that I can move them around. So I'm going to do 12 times 4, and then I'm going to take that answer and multiply them by 10. Well, 12 times 4 is 48, and then if I multiply by 10, I just add a 0 back on. So either way I multiply these numbers, I get 480. We will continue practicing these skills tomorrow in class. You're almost finished. When you're sure you understand this lesson, go back to your teacher's website and fill out the exit slip. See you tomorrow.